Hello, this is Papa Lazaru, and I've been getting some questions from you guys asking what my stat priority is, what my gear's like, what talents I use, and just other little tips and tricks to help you guys complete golds in challenge modes in Warlords of Draenor. So here's a video about that. Hopefully it's helpful. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So my stat priority that I use is multi-strike over crit, over haste, over versatility, over mastery. I use multi-strike as my main stat because of an ability that monks have. It's called Jade Miss. It's a passive ability that gives you 5% more of the multi-strike stat from all resources. So if you're stacking multi-strike, that just gives you 5% more. It's really good. I then use crit as my secondary stat. I feel it's pretty good, it just allows you to crit more. It used to be the best stat in MOP challenge modes, but not anymore since multi-strike is now a thing. Then you can use haste, versatility, mastery, I don't know. I prefer haste over the other two. The other two are kind of useless, especially mastery, because who cares about your little balls, they suck anyways. The next thing I'll talk about is using spirit on your gear. So currently I only have 3 out of possible 6 slots that I have spirit gear on. This is because, I don't know, the manatees, they heal for a ton. You can get, what is it? You get 2% mana for each stack, so use 2 stacks at a time. So that'll give you 8% of your mana back. So although spirit is pretty good, like it just helps you generate in combat, you can just use your manatees. That's your main mana regeneration ability. And also in challenge modes you get to drink quite a bit if you plan it properly, so you can just use up all your mana and just drink the full eventually. I should also mention that in the upcoming patch, or at least on the PTR, they're planning to reduce the amount of mana that you get back from manatees. I believe it's based on your spirit, so I might end up getting more spirit on my gear if this actually comes out on live, but that's just another thing we'll have to worry about in the future. Next off, we'll talk about what kind of gear I use. On my video, I guess I'll have little pictures of what I use to go along with what I say. So in my helm socket, I have Hood of Burning Focus, which gives me haste multi-strike. On the helm, I believe if you just do like the regular heroic dungeons, there's no actual piece that gives you crit and multi-strike, so this is why I use this one. This will be the case for some of the other pieces I use as well, so I'll just mention that too. For next piece, I use Obsidian Choker. This is, I forget where this is from, but it gives you crit and multi-strike, so those are the 2 best stats you want, so that's pretty good. Next, from my shoulders, I have Spire Flame Spaulders of the Savage, which has crit and multi-strike. Then my cloak is Mistweaver Wind Cloak, which is multi-strike and spirit. My chest piece is Chest Guard of Burning Focus, crit and multi-strike again. My wrists, I have Leaf Mender Wraps, which have crit and multi-strike again, which is great. I don't know. Then we have hands, which are Railwalker Gloves of the Deft. This has haste and multi-strike. This is one of the slots that can't have crit and multi-strike, so that's why I use this one. We have Life Mender Girdle as my waist, which has crit and versatility. So this one I need to upgrade to at least have some sort of multi-strike on it. I think this is one of the ones that doesn't allow you to have crit and multi-strike, but I've been too lazy to get a replacement for this guy. For my legs, I have Blood Feather Leggings, crit and multi-strike. For my boots, I have Railwalker Boots of the Merciless. This has Mastery and multi-strike. This is another case of where I'm too lazy to go out and farm stuff. So I could get multi-strike and haste on this, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Then for my rings, I have Mark of Ice, crit and multi-strike. Then Signet of Crashing Waves, multi-strike, and spirit. As you can see, there's speed on here, but that doesn't actually it's not actually usable in challenge modes, so that's useless. So yeah. For my trinkets, I have Crystalline Blood Drop, which is multi-strike and spirit, and I have Quiescent Roostone? I don't know. And it has haste, multi-strike, and intellect, which is really good. It drops off Imperator. So if you want a great trinket, go do Imperator, I guess, Raid Finder and get this, because it'll scale down, and it gives you all 3 stats, and it's pretty good. Then for my weapon, I just use Staff of the Grand Emperor, which is, or Imperator? Yeah, I'm dumb. Staff of the Grand Emperor. Fuck. Staff of the Grand Imperator, which drops off the last boss at High Mall again. It says crit multi-strike, which is, I feel, the best. As well, I should mention that on your weapons, if you use the really expensive enchants on there, it's really effective. I think we were looking at it earlier, and these are up like 25% of the time, so they're just an additional like crazy good buff that you can use. As well, you can enchant your other stuff with expensive stuff, but I'm just highlighting on the weapon enchants. They're really good. Okay. Now we'll go over what talents I use. I just use this general talent layout for all my dungeons, unless there's something I'm in trouble on, then I switch it up a bit. So let's start off with the level 15 talent tree, which is I use Tiger's Lust on, just so I can throw it on tanks or myself, usually for the tank, so you can pick up stuff easier. For level 30, I use Chi Wave. I feel that's just the best burst healing. Chi Burst would be alright. It's better for raids because it's really good if you can stack people up, but that's usually not very viable in challenge modes. Level 45, I use Chi Brew because you can manage your additional Chi that this gives you. It's just like an extra enveloping mist you can put on people if you're short on Chi, and it gives you mana T stacks as well. It's just really good. Level 60, I use Charging Ox Wave, which allows you to stun stuff at range, but just be good at it, I guess. Throwing it out because you can sometimes miss. It's kind of annoying, but it's overall, I think, the best. You can also use Leg Sweep if you're suicidal and you want to run in there and get one shot by stuff, but that's up to you. Level 75, I use Diffuse Magic. That's really good, especially on magic damaging dungeons like Dune or Shadow Moon, things that put dots on you, because that will just reflect it back to the boss if he's the one throwing it at you, and it also reduces magic damage taken by 90%, so that's just crazy good. You can also use Dampen Harm as well if the damage going out is not magic damage. It'll just reduce the damage you take by 50% for on the next 3 attacks if the damage is more than 15% of your health. So in some cases this is actually better, but that's for you guys to find out which fights is best for. For level 90 talent, I use Invoke Zuin, the White Tiger. This is just pretty good damage. Usually you want to pop this on trash pulls that are more or equal to 3 mobs, or 3 mob bosses if you want, because it does like a cleave up to 3 enemies, so that's pretty good. I'd say it's better than the other 2 just because rushing Jade Wind, you can't really use that mana effectively in dungeons really. And Cheetah Fredo, I just feel that Zuin is better overall damage, and the Eminence healing that he does is pretty good as well. Last talent, level 100, I use Pool Mist, just so it's a good way to generate Chi, just to generate mana T stacks. It's pretty good, increases your healing by 15% done by renewing Mist. It's not a big amount, but it's better than Chi Explosion, which is completely garbage, and Breath of the Serpent. Oh no, I've used it in one other. I used it on my Ubers run. Just, I don't know, when we're stacked up, it seemed alright, but I'd still suggest Pool of Mist. It's just allows you to have mist on everyone, and this generates chi better, I'd say. So there's like people asking if I know any tips. So I have a couple, I guess. The first one I'll mention is get a swap blaster. You can get this from the auction house, or you can get an engineer to make it for you. I bought mine for about 750 gold. You can probably get them a lot cheaper now. I use this to cheese a lot of the dungeons, at least 2 or 3. It just basically swaps you and the target places. So if you use that with your Transcendence, I believe, what is this called? Yeah, Transcendence ability, that's just like a little port thing like a warlock. You can basically swap 2 people up really fast to places to skip mobs, so that's really good. What makes a good group is your recovery time, and because you're going to wipe a ton on these challenge modes. There's no escaping it, you're just going to die repetitively. So try planning out your dungeon, finding the best spot to drink, and where to use pots and where to use cooldowns. Challenge modes are all about the cooldowns, and just not wasting them, trying to save them, just trying to use them effectively, trying to use them constantly as well. Another big thing is communication with your tank and the rest of your group, just so you don't overlap cooldowns. Like a lot of the times, I don't know if you noticed this, but my tank will pop shield wall, then I'll put life cocoon on him. Although this isn't terrible, you could have used it more wisely. I could have used it more wisely, but yeah, that's just mistakes that happen. So just try to communicate the best you can with your group. Helps on interrupts. You don't want to miss interrupts on people just because everyone's just spamming at the same time. And for monks, I'd say the biggest problem I had was switching between targets, because first you have to put Soothing Mist on a target, then if you want you can put Surging Mist, and I don't know, in challenge modes it takes a tank, well my tank, to die in like 5 globals. You have to constantly be healing him, constantly have enveloping mists on him so you can switch between targets easier. Yeah, so monks are all about the global cooldown, so just use them wisely. If you have to, skip mana tea globals. I do that quite a bit. I don't know if you guys noticed that in my videos. You can also use life cocoon to help you switch over if you feel that someone else is going to get just wrecked the next couple seconds. So just put a life cocoon on your tank, swap over, heal that guy the full, switch back, and you should be fine. So it's all about practice, learning when to use it, when not to. What else could I mention? Don't forget to use pots, bring flasks, bring all that consumable crap. Try to pre-pot on every fight, every boss fight that is. Just why not? Why wouldn't you do that? You can see me in my videos, I don't do that, I'm pretty bad. Also, if you think you've messed up a fight mana wise, you've wasted too much mana healing something that you shouldn't have, don't be afraid to pop a mana potion just so you recover easily. You don't have to spend as much time drinking. It's just, yeah, just use them as much as you can. Try to minimize the amount of time you have to pause to drink. Another terrible thing I do is I click a lot. I don't know if you watch my videos, you'll see that. Try not to do that. That is usually not efficient, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty fast at clicking. So if you're a wizard like me, you can do that, but try not to. It's pretty bad. Another thing I should mention is try not to replicate every YouTube video that you see, because each group is going to be totally different, essentially. Everyone's going to have their different cooldowns based on their classes, and it's not necessarily faster pulling huge groups in place of smaller ones. Sometimes it's better to pull smaller but faster. Overall, it'll just be faster that way. It really depends on your group makeup and how well you guys work together. One thing I'll touch on is healer DPS. For a monk, if you switch into Crane spec, you can do, I don't know, decent amount of damage. You can do 8 to 12k if you're just slamming your stuff pretty well. Um, some of the fights, especially in Everbloom, the tank doesn't need much healing, so you can just DPS through some of the phases, especially the first boss and the fourth boss, I believe. And there's other instances where I wish I could have DPS more instead of healing. This is just great for downing the boss faster, obviously, and this also allows you to generate manatees faster and better. I don't know, it's just a great way instead of wasting your time just twiddling your thumbs and not doing anything for a couple seconds. So try to do as much damage as possible just to help out the team. Let's make your time faster. Okay guys, I think that's it. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this will help you guys get golds. Um, if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Um, yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.